So I actually decided to record this because as I was rewatching the games from yesterday, I found a repeated error from R7 that was so egregious that I thought that I would never see it being in a World Series. But I saw this more not necessarily as a way to call them bad because they are, don't get me wrong. This type of mistake should never happen in pro play. But it's one of those rare moments where I can actually talk about fundamentals using a world spot. So, in some sense, I thank them for giving me this opportunity, but at the same time, I feel bad for the victim of such terrible play, which is who's Bong. Like, I'm just gonna say it right now. A lot of people are going to say that this guy was really behind in CS, like, did not get to play the game much. Well, yeah, he didn't get to play the game much because his jungler is a really bad player. That's the kindest way that I could put it. So this is how I'm going to expand this. So the mistake that old Audi makes actually is the same in the two games. And both occasions, you kind of see Bong take the really bad end of the stick. And I'm just going to explain and contextualize the information a little more with my notepad. So when the top lane gets blinded, here are some of the advantages. Bot lane gets pushed back, which means that their lane should be more favorable. As you can see in game one, that is most certainly not the case, which is where the draft issue comes in. However, that is secondary. My main point will still stand, and I'll expand on that a little bit later. Second thing is that jungle also gets pushed back. So they also get to see way more and perhaps even get a decent mid pairing. In this case, really, again, mid pick also doesn't matter. This is the type of play that you should do no matter what you are in terms of whether or not you're a jungler or not, unless you are in a very bad adverse situation. And in this case, I will keep those 2 points in mind, and especially this last one, because I'm going to show that even if these things are not necessarily met, and even if they are met, the action that Audi makes is still unforgivable. So this is the point in time where, since Renekton has been blinded, then the PSG responds with Cannon, which is historically a very strong matchup against Renekton, and you are expected to lose this. And when you are in a losing matchup and you are losing HP because you're naturally trying to get CS while you're getting constantly getting harassed, you're not going to be wanting to get at the XP range. You're not going to be wanting to shed too many of those melee minions. So even though you're falling behind, you're naturally going to be trying to get these waves. You're going to lose HP if you do that. So what that needs to happen then is the top laner, after picking up this immediate wave, needs to use TP and then pick up the rest of the wave, and then you need to crash that big wave back and prevent it from being frozen, or worse, you not being able to get that wave, so you're being effectively a whole wave behind, if not a wave and a half behind in terms of experience. You do not want either of those things to happen. So what does a jungler do with this situation? A jungler must either do one of these two things. One is, if they're a very good ganking jungler, then they need to immediately go to this lane and then burn flash. Killing is kind of killing the cannon here is kind of too ideal. What you want to do is you want to get the flash out of the enemy top laner that is very oppressive. So for the next 5 minutes, Bong's life is a little bit easier. They cannot actively be underneath this zone of influence as much. This is around the time where they're left vulnerable to being ganked from here and here on the blue side of the map, and you would not like to be in that situation. So then Kennen has to play passive. Or, if you're not necessarily a good ganking jungler, like Diego, then you need to make sure that the Renekton is able to crash this next wave and prevent it from being frozen, and to also get this wave. But he does neither. He basically just pats down and leaves Renekton to dry. And this is exactly what's going to happen. You could see, the worst case of it all is that he doesn't even leave his position as a mystery. Instead of even full clearing down, he goes for a gank in a Nico with flash. The chances of this working is nil. The Jarvan's positioning is irrelevant here, by the way. Even if they do get this flash, it doesn't actually help them in the long run, much less getting Cannon's flash. Because Nico is still going to get pushed no matter what. It's not going to give this champion a little bit more of hesitance. So this guy loses his HP, loses his time, and simultaneously wastes his top laner's life. Now the Viego's out of the factor. So what does he resume to do? What does Ozzy resume doing? He just pushes the wave back, immediately clears the wave, and then pins the Renekton underneath this tower, and then he constantly has to be harassed while trying to get farm. And even at level 6, look at the HP disparity. How is Renekton supposed to abuse his level 6 power spike now? Effectively, he's in a catch-22 now. He's in a point of irrecoverable state. And this is another moment where I get additionally frustrated as well. Because this guy needs bailout now. Where if the jungler's position gets revealed, look at the current situation on the map. The big wave is coming in. A secondary wave is a little bit further in, so Cannon could actually slow down this wave and then pick it up and then dogpile it again to make this matter worse. And Maple arrived down mid first, and Juja is on the top side of the map. This is a top lane dive situation. So what is the last thing that the Viego should do is reveal his position, right? Look what he does. His idea is to capture Drake. Again, my entire point is irrelevant to what PSG is trying to do. The point is that he does not care about what they do at all. The moment that this Dragon has been captured sign shows up, then all of us, the Renekton's life becomes more miserable. And if Junja actually made the active top lane path play that we immediately identified and went for that play, then Renekton would have been effectively out of the game even more. This issue actually surfaces yet again in Game 2, and this is the reason why I'm additionally frustrated. So we're going to see the occasion again, where I probably don't need to elaborate on this matchup, Rumble versus Cassante. If you have played this matchup, you know it. If not, know that it's very difficult. But we see a similar situation yet again, where his HP gets depleted too much, trying to stay on top, staying even with the EXP. And he has to use TP and then get back. Now in this situation, you can't really blame the jungler for this. Most likely Bong made a mechanical error, and this is more on his responsibility too. So more blood is in his hands in this case. However, the still thing remains where this wave still needs to be pushed back and be allowed to crash. But see what happens here. He drops one ward and just leaves. He doesn't show up to push the wave in. There's nothing on the boss side of the map they could potentially lose. And to make matters worse, they could potentially, in this situation, as long as they know for a fact that Maokai is not present, could even go for a play here. And they have pinged Maokai's position. So again, Bong is in hell. This type of mistake is more acceptable when we are at a case where Cassante is in the play. However, when it becomes a champion such as Renekton, whose entire role is, I mentioned it in past videos, and it's getting too long, so I'll wrap it up quick. But Renekton's entire point is that his strongest spikes are in the first and second items, and at level 6 and level 9, so he's a very good Herald fighter for both occasions, and he's also a very good third Drake fighter. So it's very important for you to stack objectives, so by the time that Renekton gets Guardian Angel as third item, then his job is done. However, if that situation is not met, then Renekton becomes a very weak team fighter in the later stages of the game, so his value decreases. So if they are indeed blinding that champion, and trying to at least justify that type of this draft strategy, then the jungler should play as such, and not leave one of his teammates to dry and fail.